Hi guys, and welcome to another video by Vegan and Frodo. Great to see you here again on my channel. Hope you're having a beautiful, wonderful day. Whatever you're doing, I am trialing out. Oh, do you see the watermelon? I know you can't see the color, but it's a watermelon over there. It's so cool. I've been really into watermelons lately. So I want to make a video. I recently got a pretty cool question, and well, I think it's pretty interesting, and I just want to address it and basically talk about it a little bit. Sorry, my cup is flooding with my tea in it. But basically, the question was in regards to accommodation when you're traveling and cycling long distance, and I think it's a fair point. It's a fair question. And the question was about, like, what do you do with accommodation? How do you... Oh, actually, I might be able to find it on my phone. Uh, but this person was actually, like, saying that they're starting out as a cyclist. They're really enjoying, like, the whole traveling aspect of it and adventure aspect of it. And they just have questions in regards to what do you do... in terms of accommodation, basically, right? When I started out traveling, because I started out traveling before, and I got into traveling before I started cycling, I thought it was like incredible and amazing thing. I was pro planning everything out and basically like getting it right to the dot, like sorting everything out. What are you going to do? Where are you going to stay? All that kind of stuff. And so over time, I kind of realized that it also adds up quite a bit of stress. But sometimes not having these things planned out can also add a bit of stress. So what I have done planning out like trips and booking all the accommodation before, and they worked out fine. And at times, you know, when you're just flying about and getting from A to B by plane, and it works fine. When you're on a bike, there's obviously all these uncertainties where you're going to end up, like not sure what's going to happen on the day and what your body going to be able to handle. So what I have found on my very first trip, before I left, I kind of estimated of what I will do in the next 3 days, and I found that I did push myself quite a bit, and I wouldn't say that it was like the worst thing, but if I didn't have those bookings that I did have, I think I might have done less Ks, if you know what I mean. Like, I would have... I remember, like, specifically that I would get to a place and it would start getting dark and I'd be like, man, and I would, like, sit in this town and having dinner and stuff and wishing that I didn't have to, like, ride. Sometimes I was like, man, I wish I didn't have to ride, like, another 30 or whatever Ks, which means another hour and a half, and it's, like, you know, 6 or 7 p.m. right now. And I'd be like, man, what? But, you know, you'd get it done. You get on a bike, you get it done, and you're there already. And at times, it was a little bit more dangerous. Like, I remember one time, one of the days for when I was cycling to Sydney, I'm talking about, like, the first trip, it was really, really rainy, and it was pretty, like, a challenging day on a bike, and I had to cycle through, like, the weather wasn't ideal, and it was getting really, really late, and I was just, like, kind of meditating on, you know, stay safe on the road, stay safe on the road, stay safe, like, kind of meditating that and reading that in my head. But once I got to my accommodation, I was just like, thank God. Like, thinking, like literally I stopped before I got in. I was like outside in the entrance and I was just looked up in the sky and there's like all these thousands of stars and just freaking, you know, endless universe. And I was like, thank you so much for allowing me to get here safely, for looking after me, for motivating me and let me just keep on going. And, you know, sometimes you do need to, like, just prioritize your safety first over whatever else is happening, whatever might be happening on the road. But what I would recommend and what I am doing on my next trip as well is that I'm booking the first couple of days, and then there's all these different resources that you can use to book it while you're on the go. So there's obviously all these, your basic website like Expedia.com, Booking.com, all of those websites, right? Like, that you usually book your accommodation through. And I had no problems booking accommodation one night in advance. just, look it up wherever, like whichever city I think I'm gonna end up in, and just book it there. Um, I have also done in the past, in my trip from Adelaide to Melbourne, I have it kind of got like I got sick one of the days, as like you might have seen on my vlogs, and I just kind of didn't feel like I could ride, and I really felt like my body was asking for a day off, so I gave it a day off, and I stayed in Keith 2 nights in a row, I think, and then I went off cycling the next day, and I didn't book where I stayed because I just kind of didn't want to overly push my body, and I just kind of wanted my body to guide me where it wanted to stop, basically. And I ended up doing exactly the distance that I wanted to do on that day, and I stopped where I planned. I don't remember the name now. Like, I will, like, if I look on the map. But anyway, I just rocked up to this place, and I found a hotel. Like, I got into, like, a city center, town center, and I, like, looked up the accommodation just quickly on my phone, and, like, what's available in the area. I also looked at prices quickly. I looked at reviews, and on that day, it was important for me that there'd be heating because it was a pretty cold day. So I kind of looked for that, and I was able to just navigate myself to the hotel, and there was no worries, especially in smaller towns. Like, there was no issues for me getting accommodation, really. But an interesting thing is, so that was just, I rocked up and it was there. I didn't have anything pre-booked. Another thing that happened to me in Melbourne, when I got into Melbourne, I was kind of hoping to stay with my friends that I had who lived there, but it just turned out that the accommodation wasn't available, and it was like last minute, and I just couldn't stay there, which was fine. And I used Warm Showers, service called Warm Showers, and it is just like awesome as. I'll show you actually. I hope you can see it. But I downloaded it as an app on my phone. There you go. Can you see? And it basically shows in and zooms in and bang. And you like go anywhere. Yeah, it's like not really colored, but on the phone it is colored. It's just I'm recording a video not in color. But anyway, it like shows you where you are, and then you zoom in. And for example, I'll pick one of the pins. See? You pick it and you go to it. And there it tells you like what this person, just about it, if like their phone number, how far they are from you, the little description, what is available, like if they can host you, if they can offer you food, if they can like offer you bed or just their backyard and things like that. And basically what you can do is you can get to a location and have a look. Warm Showers is free and it's open to cyclists, and like seriously, like don't be afraid to use it. I think it's such an awesome tool, and I'm so glad that I found out about it. And a person who told me about it was Andrew Nicholson, actually, and he is another cyclist, another tourer, and basically a dude who is currently the fastest person to cycle around the world by Guinness World Records. So he has a shit ton of experience with this stuff, and he basically used, because when I was talking to him, and it was just like, oh, it must have cost you quite a bit, like cycling, because it took him not, it was like three and a bit months of cycling to actually get the whole circumference of the earth. And he was just like, well, I use a lot of Warm Showers, and that helped me like to save a lot of money. And these people are usually people that are into bicycles, people that are really into, they want to help you because they know what it's like, because they're cyclists themselves, and they often also will give you some food, help you wash your clothes, help you fix your bike if you need it. Like, it's just a great resource. And if you're there wherever you are, and one, you're trying to save money when you're traveling around, and two, you just like there, I don't have anything booked, and maybe hotels are not available, or they're too expensive, or whatever. Like, just seriously try it out. Like, just find a few people in the area, try going maybe a day in advance, or if you're just there on that day, just send message to a whole bunch of people, like 10 people or 20 people. And on the app there's like a thing called messages. Can you see? Here you go. Yeah. Oh, whoops. Okay, well, these are just my favorites that I've really enjoyed staying with. But there's a thing called messages, and then there it like comes up with, like, seriously, that's what I did. Like, I just sent like a whole lot of, Here you go. But anyway, you can sort of see just reflection. But it's just like a whole bunch of messages to people who are like in the area, and in the title I just say like the dates and the city, place where I want to stay at, and I just like give myself a quick introduction. I give my cell number. Make sure that you send them a little email through the app, and as well as send a text message to their number. Sometimes people will be willing just to open, you know, their floor for you or a couch, or sometimes there'll be a spare room for you. So just like try it out. Like don't be scared to use it as well. One thing I will say though, when you know there is a big public holiday or like a very popular event that's in the area, for example Easter, Christmas, I know, Anzac Day, things like that, do book some sort of accommodation, because if you're going somewhere where it's popular. So for example, if you're cycling to Melbourne and you're planning to end up in Melbourne on like the Easter Sunday or whatever, have some sort of accommodation booked, because warm showers, again, these are just regular people and they might have people coming over or being busy. You know, their accommodation might be busy. So do have some sort of booking when you're going to a place which you think, oh, will probably be popular, and you know, on that particular day. But other than that, I don't think it should be a problem for most of the time. If it makes you feel better, like you can book 1 day in advance as well. That's also an option, and that also kind of pushes you to go that little bit further on the next day. Before booking also, if you're booking 1 day in advance, just like check the weather, check the roads before you're going, like, you know, Vic roads or Queensland roads or whatever, but just like make sure that the roads that you're planning to take are open, and just go for it. Seriously, it is part of the adventure. Like whatever happens, happens. Have a backup plan. What's the worst thing that can happen? You will call a taxi. Like seriously, especially in Australia, like if you're not cycling through the desert, if you're just cycling along the coast, like going from Sydney to Brisbane, or you're going like from Sydney to Melbourne or whatever, like, you know, like it's great to also know people who live on the way. So like make some contacts, like maybe some of your friends that live in the area. Just it's good to kind of just be like, oh hey, I'm cycling through a place, you know, it'd be cool to, you know, just so they're aware that you're going through there, you're cycling, maybe you can stay at their house or whatever. But yeah, again, like in Sydney, I knew someone, so I just kind of rocked up, and that was easy because I was like, hey, I got in this day, and gonna come and crash at your house. So basically that was easy as well. So okay, quickly to sum up what you can look at Expedia and Booking.com. You can, before your journey, book maybe first couple of days, but then you can book the day in advance, or just rock up to a place and book straight away. I have done mostly rock up and find somewhere to stay for the majority of my Adelaide to Melbourne trip, but my trip Brisbane to Sydney, I basically was looking at the thing at Airbnb. I booked heaps with Airbnb, and I booked a few Expedia ones. And I had like a brilliant time, like seriously, it was always just the nicest place, and it was just, but when you're that tired, like you don't actually care, you're just like, oh freaking, just let me sleep. Now have some food, but make sure you do have food, you have plenty of water, you have a bottle of like water by your bed, and make yourself drink water as well, especially because when you're doing touring, your body is just like quite dehydrated, so make sure that you have sufficient nutrition the night before, like, you know, and every single night throughout your tour, like, and try to get as much greens as you can. Like, I know it might sound like annoying and stupid, and, you know, spinach doesn't have many calories, which you need for cycling, but it will just help your digestion, because, like, technically you are sitting down for quite a long time, so just have lots of greens, have a huge bottle of water before you go to bed, like, have your 700 ml sippy water right from your bike bottle, and have a big full bottle before you leave as well in the morning, because you'll be like in someone's house or in the hotel. Just down it, get it in, yeah, make sure all your bottles are filled up for the next day, just so you don't like get dehydrated and stuff like that. Okay, that's a crazy long video as it is. So look at Booking.com, Expedia, Airbnb, warm showers. Also couch surfing is an option, but it gets a little bit watered down, the couch surfing, by now. So contact your friends that might live in the area, contact other cyclists, maybe join cyclist groups, on Facebook. So for example, in Brisbane here, we have Brisbane Vegan Cyclist Group. I hosted someone from Raw Till 4 vegan cyclist group that I was in, and like it was just a guy who is cycling through Australia, and he's just like, hey, I need somewhere to crash. And because I recently done myself, like I've been doing a few tours this year, and I know what it's like, and I'm just like, just get a monster, seriously, like host someone, and then someone will host you, and it'd be just like cool and fun. Okay, let's finish this video here, otherwise I'll be like just ranting and going on about it forever. I hope you found this video helpful. Hope it answered some questions. Don't be afraid of it. If you're going on days when they're public holidays, do book it. Like, I would recommend booking. And if you don't know, can't guarantee how long you're going to take, well, you know, you're just going to have to guess and either push yourself to get there, or just, it'll work out. Like, it'll work out. Don't be like, don't overthink it. Don't be too scared of it. Don't stress so much about it. If it's going to be a busy period, book something. Unless you're living in a tent, right? Like, you want to stay in a tent, because that's like an easiest option. And there's lots of places where you can just pitch tent. So that's like the easiest and the cheapest way to do it. Otherwise, try out warm showers. Get like an account while you're still in your home, in your area, right? Like put like an appropriate picture, put a little description about yourself so people can see that you're like a normal person. And yeah, just try it out. Don't be afraid of it. Like, seriously, it's so much fun. It is so exciting. And I personally think that life is about adventure. Life is just what life is. That's what life is for me. And we're here to gain experience. We're here to experiment with everything we come across in the world and to push ourselves further and not be afraid. If you're afraid, you're like never gonna do anything, really. You're never gonna leave the house. So do that. And I hope you find this helpful. Ask me more questions, and I'll see you in another video. Remember to stop counting calories, start counting hills, count your adventures, count your passions, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!